Hello, and welcome back to Magic Mountain My Way, an open RCT2 Let's Build series where I take the Six Flags Magic Mountain map from Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 and build whatever I want on it. The whole purpose is for me to get used to all of the new features of Open RCT2 and just play the game that I've not played in about 10 years, it's been a nice nostalgia trip. But anyway, this is an overview of what we did last episode. I'm not going to lie to you, even now, however many hours on I've played this map since recording this, I have not touched that log flume or those shot towers. They do both still exist as they look now. I do realise I need to go back in at some point and add some more depth to them, work on the queue lines and entrances and stuff, but I will get to that at some point. As you're might be getting used to at this point, I'm a bit of a distracted builder, and I will do something so far and then I'll come back to it at a later period because I get another idea and I want to go over there. But anywho, onto the meat and potatoes of this episode. We're building a mine train for the park. Before I did this, I did do a little bit of research into mine trains, and originally I wanted something closer to like is it Adventure Express at Kings Island or Thunderation at Silver Dollar City, but I settled on a train and track style that's kind of similar to the Six Flags Great Adventure mine train, which I don't think is the same manufacturer. I think it could be Intamin. I might be very wrong, but I know the track style is different. Editing Ryan here. I'm wrong. They're both the same manufacturer. They're both Aerodynamics. I was just confused because the track styles look different. The pictures I put up, the one on the left is Adventure Express at Kings Island, and the one on the right is Runaway Mine Train at Six Flags Great Adventure. And the Great Adventure one looks like it's got more of a circular spine. So that's why I was confused. Anywho, back to the time lapse. A feature about Open RCT2 that I love is you can combine coaster types. So I'm using the Hypercoaster track here, and I've popped on the Runaway Mine Train trains. I just think it looks a bit nicer than using the classic Runaway Mine Train track design in game, as that seems to lend itself more to Big Thunder Mountain or what's the mine train at Wallaby, Belgium called? Calamity Mine, I think. I say that, it doesn't. It's definitely more Big Thunder Mountain leaning, but anywho. I've been talking about anything and everything other than building this coaster right now, but I knew what I wanted in a layout is I wanted a gentler first half with a slightly more thrilling second half. The coaster itself is massive. You'll see towards the end when I do a zoom out of what we've got. A zoom out, that's terrible terminology, but you know what I mean. You can see just how much space on the mountain that this mine train takes up. But I quite like that. I quite like something sprawling, and if there's a coaster layout you can kind of get away with, how do I phrase that? If there's a coaster layout you can get away with sprawling track, it's probably a mine train above and beyond a lot of things, unless I'm building a wooden coaster that's like the Beast, for example. I do go ahead and get rid of this helix. I'm probably going to do it now, yeah. Which, on hindsight, I actually really quite liked the double helix, but I did get rid of it, because even though this coaster is massive, it's not actually that long in terms of prime ride time, which I find is pretty common with mine trains anywho, so yeah. I wanted to keep it as terrain conforming as possible, so I raised up that land there to keep it from being too far off the ground. And I do have the transfer in front of the station rather than behind the station, which is again something I found to be, I wouldn't say common, but it appears on mine trains more frequently than I probably realised. You'll see with the transfer when I get to building it later that I was looking at POVs of my different real life mine trains and trying to figure out what on earth to do with the transfer. And looking at the Six Flags Great Adventure railway mine train, it has the quirkiest transfer track. It's a standard sliding transfer, but when it slides to one side, it goes over to a piece of track that can hold one train, and then if it slides in the opposite direction, it goes on to a piece of track that can hold two trains, and that piece of track that can hold two trains kind of meanders off and goes into like a curve. I don't know whether I'm assuming they use it because it's built there to be used, but I don't know. I'm not that familiar with the operations of Six Flags Great Adventure, aside from the fact that the second time I visited that park, everything was closed other than Nitro, Jersey Devil, and Batman. And Skull Mountain, actually. So it isn't everything, but considering it was considering how much I paid to go into that park, I was really quite upset, and I spent 2 hours there and left. Which is the contrast to my first visit. My first visit was great. The park was completely dead. I was there for their Halloween event, which I had a good time at, and I was looking forward to getting back to Great Adventure because I love El Toro. And then my second visit was not my favourite, shall we say. Anywho, this queue line, I kept the station where the original Log Flume station was in the original Six Flags Magic Mountain map, because it's one of those things that I remember loving a lot when I used to play this as a kid, and I kind of wanted to honour that. Thinking of realism, you've just seen me put in the queue line there, but in my brain it would have some kind of hateful Maverick style cattle pen in a shed queue line underneath that station building. I just didn't build that, the equivalent of that really, in this game, because again, I mentioned previously, I want to try and make it as peep friendly as possible, whilst also maintaining whatever realism I can stomach that day. To keep it from being as imposing, because it's quite a huge building. I mean, the station itself is like 4 tiles from ground level, and then when you add in the roofing, I think the peak of the roof is 6 tiles from the ground, which is really high in terms of Roller Coaster Tycoon height. I tiered it at the front there, because that is the biggest wall that you're going to face. I'm just popping in the access lift there. Even though it is ramped all the way up, it's quite the way, so I thought a lift would still be appropriate. But yeah, I tiered the front of it there to stop it feeling so imposing, and I do add a little extra tier later on when I put the sign in, just to help soften that. Really, it's set back a little bit, so it's okay, but it's still quite large. But then on the back side of the building, it's not that large because it's at the peak level. So yeah, I'm rambling. I absolutely love this feature. I'm sure I've said it before, but using the tile inspector to be able to angle fencing and certain walls that can be angled in the game to help with roofing, I just love. I think it's great. It's one of my favourite features, and I will continue to use it until I get sick of it. Just adding some coverage on the back there for the exit path. Again, thinking about this logically, a lot of these type of parks, their fast track system isn't a separate queue line. It is go up the exit and annoy other guests by stealing their seat right from under their nose. And I thought if there was going to be a fast track line for this, it's probably nice to give them a bit of coverage there. But here's the transfer that I was talking about, the quirky little sliding thing, where one side is goes into a curve that can hold 2 trains worth, and one side goes into a straight piece of track that can hold 1 train's worth. I guess with the nature of the sliding system, you could have 2 trains on that long piece of straight track there, which I do end up covering. I cover the sliding transfer and the single jutting out piece there, but then I leave that curve exposed. Again, I'm not too sure why. I think in hindsight, I would probably say I do go ahead and put in a access road up to the transfer that's next to the lift hill there. And I'd imagine if the trains, for whatever reason, needed craning off to do any closed season maintenance, or not that Magic Mountain has a closed season, but for whatever reason, I would, in my brain, it would be craned off from this transfer here. I try and cover this transfer initially, but because there's only one diagonal wall with windows in this game, and in the vanilla pieces anyway, and it just doesn't look right for me for this, so I leave it exposed, and you can see me there putting the groundwork in for the access road. It does look kind of crazy because, again, with the nature of the terrain in this game, it's 45 degrees or a vertical face. So though it looks very steep, I would consider that to probably be significantly less steep in real life. When I've been building, as much as I love the Cedar Fair and kind of Six Flags aesthetic of it all, purely based on the colour palette that I've been using, and you'll see in the coming episodes, it ends up accidentally being a lot more European in terms of like theme park design. It plays with a lot more muted colours and colours that blend in with the nature around it, so browns and greens and yellows, rather than bright reds and oranges and blues and things like that you would often find at the Cedar Fair parks. Like a coaster that always pops into my head with which colour schemes that I love is Talon at Dorney Park, and that looks great. I love Dorney Park, and I think Talon looks great, especially when the skies are blue, that orange and yellow sets really nicely off of it. But I haven't done any brightly coloured coasters as of yet in this park. The most colour you've seen me use is the blue for those shot towers. But yeah, that's sort of where I'm at with this park. I am going to put in the sign and the little entrance building there now, and I keep that mode lawn in front of the station building there to avoid it again feeling overcrowded. But I don't really do much else in this episode in terms of the mine train. I don't theme anything else, and I don't put any more foliage in. It is sort of sat in this state, and it still is now. Again, my building, not paying attention. But that kind of brings it to an end for this episode, and here's an overview of where we're at. You can see just how large that mine train is. But yeah, I look forward to hearing any feedback or continuing to put these episodes out, because I'm enjoying editing them and having a reason to play this game. But with that, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a good day, morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you are, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.